Let's do a stop practice. Stop whatever you are doing right now. Take a few breaths. Observe your experience in this moment. Then proceed mindfully into your next moments.
So welcome back to The Sacred Space.
It's me, Grizel.
And I'm Nex.
It's been a wild week. I can say I've been doing pretty well than last month. I've been able to handle my emotions well. I've been able to discover a lot of things about how I handle my conflicts, internal conflicts, and how, if it's not handled, manifest externally. So that's one of the discoveries that I have for this month.
For me, it's more like unhealed parts, wow, that have actually come to the surface. And I don't know if you follow astrology, but we're in Chiron retrograde, and Chiron was known as the wounded healer. It's this being who actually was able to heal others because the being went through or understood her wounds and suffering. Parang, so parang yun yung naging theme ko, I think, for the past weeks. Really things that are showing up na I didn't think nandun pa. And then when they showed up, I was able to kind of just make space for those wounds and those pains. And I'm sure tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya. I don't think nag-stop na siya. But being with whatever is showing up has been really helpful. And of course, the practice, meditating and mindfulness has been really helpful for me. And today, we're actually talking more about meditation.
That's correct. That leads us to today's topic, which is meditation. So, what is meditation really? Is it just connected to how Buddhists coined the term already, the meditation part? But little do they know that every other religion has meditation. But in a general perspective, ano ba ibig sabihin ng meditation? At ano yung state na yon? Anong feeling nun?
I guess it will be different for everyone. And for me, particularly because I am practicing a secular form of mindfulness and meditation, it's not so much as a state as it is a practice and a discipline. Parang for me, it's really about paying attention, cultivating awareness, becoming present to one's experience. So, yun yung mga aspects of meditation that I've been noticing in myself. Pero dun sa tanong mo siguro, what is meditation? Kailangan natin siyang i-unpack.
A lot of people, when I ask them, during our facilitation days, kasi me and Nex used to run facilitations together for an organization under the Buddhist monastery. One of the things that I always ask them is, ano yung ibig sabihin when you hear the term meditation? And automatically, without thinking, they would say, parang nasa state sila ng wala ka dapat iisipin iba, humihinga ka lang dapat. So yun ba yun? Yun ba yung klase ng meditation? Yun ba yung meditation yun ba yung totoong meaning ng meditation?
Siguro for ourselves, hindi natin makukuha ko ano talaga siya, Kasi nga, I think it will be different for different people. I'm sure it will be defined differently by a monastic. It will be defined differently by someone in Christian contemplative practices, diba? Or it will be different for someone who is doing meditation for a specific affliction like depression or anxiety. So parang ganon, it will be different for everyone. But meditation is definitely a practice where you kind of train your mind to not go into so many places. But I read somewhere na a wandering mind or yung magulong utak leads to unhappiness. And a mind that's actually more focused, can be in the present moment, finds happiness easily or easier. So when I talk about meditation as a practice, I see it as that now we can actually help our minds to just be present and to recognize what it needs to attend to. Kasi di ba parang isip ka ng isip nung nangyari na, nangyari na nga. So bakit mo pa binabalik? Or hindi pa nangyayari, nagpapanik ka na, wala pa nga. Diba? So those are the things na parang eventual benefits na. Pero meditation itself, it can have the component definitely of silence and meeting yourself. And then meeting yourself in the sense na ano nangyayari sa akin, ano na nararamdaman ko. And then yung mga aspects of, are you focusing on the breath? Are you focusing on the body? Are you focusing on or noticing your thoughts or your emotions?
When people, again, babalik ako dun sa layman's understanding of meditation, ang automatic nila is they try so hard na during a meditative state, or kapag sinabihan sila, this is how you meditate, you focus your breathing, they try so hard not to think. They automatically think na dapat i-block ko yung mind ko. And me, as the way I experienced it, it's really difficult to like automatically shut down your mind. Na parang dapat di ako mag-iisip ng kahit ano, dapat di ako mag-iisip ng kahit ano. Alam mo yun, it's that constant effort na hindi ka mag-iisip ng kahit ano. But one of the teachers that I've encountered before in my previous volunteer jobs, who is also a meditation practitioner, said that meditation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to block off your thoughts. Rather, sabi niya, observe your thoughts. Do not entertain, but observe. Pero, what does it mean when you say observe your thoughts? Kasi to me, it's also, ano nga ba yung observe my thoughts? When you're asked to breathe, ano yung observe ko? So, maraming nangyayari lalo pag tahimik, diba? So, what does it really mean when you say observe your thoughts? How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, yung part ng observing the thoughts, it's actually a higher level training of the mind already. You have to start from simple things like just breathing and then just focusing. And then, doon mo kasi mapapansin, the moment you focus on your breath, kung saan pupunta yung mind.
That is true.
And then, ang practice of meditation is just being able to, at least the basic one, where you just focus on the breath. Pag napansin mo yung thought mo went somewhere, that's when you observe, okay, it went somewhere. But instead of judging it or trying to say stop, don't think, hindi siya ganun. Kasi the moment you say stop, don't think, lalo siyang nadami yung thoughts. So instead, notice where it goes, and then gently bring it back. So yun yung unang practice. Just noticing, then bringing back. Noticing, bringing back. And then that is the first step. You already notice what's happening to your thoughts. Pero it will not be easy unless you continue practicing. Kaya we say meditation is a practice and a discipline. Parang it's not a one-shot thing na you will eventually be able to watch your thoughts and not be swayed by it. It will only happen at some point na matagal kang nagpa-practice.
Yeah. I like when you said na lumipad yung mind mo somewhere else and then hindi mo siya i-judge. Yeah, I think that's also one thing na experience ko when I was doing meditation also. Na somehow, sabi ko, pagka natatahimik na, parang okay, lumalayo na sa focus yung utak ko, mali yata itong ginagawa ko. So may ganong klaseng judgment on my mind na I'm too hard to myself. So but that also begs a question. Even if you're of a different religion, can you still practice meditation? Or ano ba yung paano magsisimula if you want to practice meditation?
Yeah, so definitely marami tayong resources nowadays, lalo na online. You have a lot of apps that give you like meditation guidance, guided meditation. So hindi tayo magkukulang dun sa resources. But in terms of your question of do you have to be religious or whatever, as someone practicing a secular way of doing mindfulness and meditation, I'd say hindi kailangan. You just have to know what you want to kind of do. Parang at the end of the day, kailangan meron kang intention. And when we're teaching meditation and mindfulness, we talk about 3 pillars. So the first is intention. Ano ba intention mo? Why are you doing this? You have to be clear on that. Because otherwise, you won't be able to keep at it. Kasi nga, hindi, wala lang to eh. Diba? Parang ganun. So the second one is attitude. Yung binabanggit natin, no? Ano yung attitude mo that you bring into meditation? Are you actually going to sit there and going to judge everything that you're thinking about, everything that you're going to feel? Or are you going to try cultivating certain attitudes such as patience, trusting, accepting, non-judgment, and we have what we call non-striving. So meaning, it doesn't have to be a certain way.
Okay.
You don't strive to be perfect. You don't strive to have no thoughts. You don't strive for anything. You're actually just being. You know? This is not, meditation is not an activity or a goal, you know, that you have to go to. It's actually what it is. You know, it is what it is.
For us, no, we've heard a lot of good benefits, no, how it benefits our mental state, the way of doing things. No, your meditation has already gained a lot of trust, support from different sectors. Na it really works. So I just wanted also to put it out there or to ask, no, na does it even have negative effects? Or should we be aware of any negative effects that it may, you know, invite to our minds or to our bodies? You know naman na kapag especially if you're coming from a place of not sure depression, I'm not so sure if that's easy to do without someone to facilitate, especially kapag hindi naman stable yung being mo at that point. Are there negative effects of meditation?
Yeah, because we do this as what I do in general when it comes to meditation and mindfulness. I'm a mindfulness facilitator kasi, and one of the things we do is provide therapy groups for relapse prevention of depression and anxiety. So in terms of your question, we are careful not to say meditation is for everyone, because there will be cases where you have a mental illness, you know, personality disorders, or certain afflictions where hallucination is one of the things that comes up. And we don't know what that actually looks like, depending on sa tao. And then the second one is trauma. Because if you have unprocessed trauma, that may show up while you're meditating. So things like that, we are kind of careful with. So in terms of what you're saying, negative effects, it's not like you meditate and dahil nag-meditate ka, may masamang mangyayari. Not so much as that. But kung may affliction ka, and then you think meditation is a panacea or a cure-all, it's really not. We can't say it in that way. It will not be responsible actually for me to say na it's for everyone and just try it and you know all of those things from a health perspective. So mas yon, and then yung second siguro, if any negative intention will create negative effects for me. So if you're going to use meditation or mindfulness for a certain negative intention, I'm sure it will have a negative effect.
Yeah, kasi I just wanted to put it out there. Kasi mamaya, yung connotation din kasi ng meditation is like, you know how people are, like when you say, nowadays, no, it's yung mindfulness, parang dati I've heard some of the people saying na, mindfulness, it's a fad now. No? it's a thing, so you should be getting into it. It's a lifestyle nowadays. Meditation is also one of the practice to get or gain mindfulness in your everyday living. So, but it's a trend nowadays, seen now as a trend, but rather than a practice na dapat sineseryoso. So, and a lot of people would say na parang, depressed ka? Meditate ka lang, tapos think of positive thoughts. So, I'm not sure if that's even doing any good to that person or doing more harm.
I'm sure there are a lot of things with what you were observing, and we kind of will talk more about toxic positivity later on and all of those things. But I think what we have for them in this episode is a little bit of a meditation practice that anyone who doesn't have unprocessed trauma or doesn't have any affliction can actually do.
Yeah.
Okay, so watch out for that. We'll do that after the break.
After the break. We'll be back. To get updated in our latest episodes, you may follow The Sacred Space by Conscious Heart Creations in Spotify, Google Podcast, and other podcast channels.
Follow Conscious Heart Creations in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We also invite you to be part of our Healing and Empowerment Community Facebook group and send us an email if you want to join our Emergent Theater PH activities.
You can find all the links to our social media accounts and email address on the description box. So today we're going to be showing a short practice of meditation, which you can do everywhere, anywhere, any time of the day. But just make sure you're in a safe space. You are not at any means driving. You are not in a moving state. At least try to do this in a safe and comfortable space.
So, Crizel, you haven't tried this. This is the 3-minute breathing space. And I'm going to kind of guide the practice for Crizel and for all of you. And then we will have a short kind of inquiry to find out a new experience. Okay?
Can you show them your instrument that you will be using?
So yeah, I use this. This is actually a xylophone. It's called the Glockenspiel, made in Sweden. So I use this also for children, but it has been useful for me when I use one of the chimes as a bell para dun sa meditation. Okay? So you will hear the bell at the start and the end. So let's begin. So settling in a comfortable, dignified sitting posture, allowing your eyes to close or to gaze downward to avoid distraction, allowing your spine to be straight but not stiff, your chest to be rising, and your head balanced on top of your shoulders, and just noticing the present moment or tuning into the present moment as you sit here. And now that you have stepped out of automaticity, checking into your experience in this moment. What thoughts are here? Becoming aware of thoughts as mental events that arise in the mind, linger, and eventually pass. What emotions are showing up for you? Perhaps naming the emotions. Sadness is here, or calm is here. Whatever it is, just naming the emotion or emotions. What body sensations are registering in your awareness? Perhaps noticing tension, racing, or perhaps noticing the day in the body or the week showing up in the body. Now gathering your attention to focus on the breath in the belly. So noticing the rise and fall or the expansion and contraction of the belly. Every in-breath and out. Allowing the breath to breathe itself. And just being with the breath as it is. And now expanding your attention or awareness to the entire body. From the top of the head, down to your fingertips and toes. And taking in the spacious awareness of your experience at this moment. As we come to the last few moments of this breathing space, taking the spaciousness or sense of spaciousness into your next moments. And when you hear the sound of the bell, letting go of this practice and moving in whatever way to find peace and comfort. Hello!
Welcome back.
So, hello everyone. So, just a little bit of an inquiry with Grizel for this practice. And of course, feel free to send in your comments as well in terms of what you noticed with the practice. So, I don't know if you noticed that there were steps. There were clear steps, although I did not say step 1, step 2, step 3. But this particular practice, you start with checking in to your experience. So that's basically what thoughts are there, emotions, body sensations. The second step is focusing on the breath in the belly. And then the last step is the sense of spaciousness, where you bring your attention to the whole body from the top of the head down to the feet. So anything that you'd like to share, what was the experience for you?
Well, first of all, when you said, when I heard the bell, my initial reaction was to close my eyes. But if you're in a state wherein you feel a little bit sloppy and sleepy, it's been a tiring week actually. So my body has not yet recuperated from that. So I chose, it makes me easily, parang fall asleep more easily. So I chose to don't close my eyes. I chose to like open my eyes, pero parang soft gaze lang. And then I started to notice some of the sensations, which are, some indigestion there. Yeah, you notice that, and that's real. And some of the muscles that are loosening up. Some of them were tight for the rest of the week. Now, when I started to breathe more into it, it started to loosen up. Also, I kind of got teary-eyed. I'm not emotional, but it's just a body reaction, I guess, and it's all of the fatigue, I guess, for the whole week, and it's kind of manifesting in many ways for me. It was a short practice, and it's something that I can do even in an office setting, even if I'm just in the office and like time to take a break. When I do decide to take a break at that point, then it's something that I can do. Of course, I don't have the bell with me, but maybe it's something that I can download, or a bell sound in, I don't know, in an application that we can download. So yeah, it was a short but sweet practice. So I think it's something that I can do in between breaks.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
to recharge and refresh my mind.
Yeah. So that's why I actually shared this one, because this has been a go-to for a lot of people. It's really portable and accessible. So in terms of the bell, you don't even need that. Just say, okay, I'm going to do a 3-minute breathing space. And then you come into that posture. That's the anchor. You start with the posture, and then go into the first step, the second step, and then the third step.
But I noticed I did not loosen up immediately. It was difficult to let go of my state earlier. Like, I was not sitting in a comfortable way, as you would in a meditation practice. So that was quite an adjustment. It's not something I'd loosen up immediately.
Yeah.
So there was a part of the hardship of letting go in that practice.
Yes. And of course, we have to talk about that, because that's also one of the things that we embrace with a meditation practice, right? Being able to eventually let go of things. And letting go meaning just being present. Because we feel like when we're meditating, it's almost like we need to do everything that we're not doing now. Diba? All of the deadlines and the tasks. Or we need to review things we forgot. You know, parang lagi siyang nasa past and present.
Ano mo yung naisip ko eh? May nakalimutan ba ako ngayon? Parang ready na ba akong mag-meeting next week? Ang dami pumasok. Pero eventually parang, teka, ilang minutes lang to, so ilalet go ko muna.
Exactly, di ba? Parang so that experience you're talking about, this is what we want to remind people about the purpose of meditation and mindfulness. It's really just saying, what does the present look like for us? And we often don't have an idea, because we're almost always moving back and forth sa past at saka sa present. Kasi nga yung doing mode, lagi siyang assessing. What didn't I do? What will I do? Lagi siyang papunta doon. But when we say we're on being mode, there's really nothing to do. It's just to be. We're just here. We're just being present. And being ourselves, being in our lives, being in the moment. So that's kind of what we hope people take away when they say, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to meditate so that I can train myself to be more present.
Well, that's the intention. That's
Yes,
the first thing, right?
intention.
And it's even, yung the practice that we just did earlier, it's something that you can do even if you're very, very tired and you don't have any energy pa kung, if you're a person who journals a lot and wala kang time to declutter that night. It's something that you can, not naman to replace, pero for the meantime, just to loosen up before you go to bed.
So this is also something we recommend, like something you can integrate, parang pocket times in your day. And even if you can do this like 3 times a day, you'll reap more benefits out of it. But of course, we in mindfulness and meditation, we say as best you can. It's not about, I'm gonna do this 20 times a day. No.
Wala kang nagawa. Joke lang, hindi ganun.
Hindi naman.
Pero what's the best time? Kasi sabi mo anytime, pero what's the optimal time to practice?
Well, definitely morning before you start your day would be a good preparation for anything. And then somewhere in the middle, if it's like lunch break, and then somewhere in the afternoon or evening before you go to bed, or maybe after your work.
So even, that goes back to the first, during the first part of this video na pwede siya kahit nagko-commute.
Yes. I've actually tried that. Halimbawa, like, I have long commutes dati pag nag-bus or nag-jeep, and then I would insert that somewhere there. And what's good about meditation kasi, if you have formal practices, when we talk about formal practices, ito yung mga long 10 to 40 minutes meditations that you do. It eventually seeps in your day na parang every moment na wala kang ginagawa, parang biglang nandun ka na sa ganung klase ng practice. Mm-hmm. You're just noticing things, you're just being there, and yun, you just enjoy the moment talaga. Kahit commute siya na mahaba, you start enjoying that. So those are some of the things that I've noticed as benefits of formal meditation practices.
But for the beginners, it doesn't really need to be perfect. Na parang perfect lahat yung posture, dapat yung breathing mo perfect din. So I think yun yung isa sa mga caution, I guess. Hindi mo kailangan maging perfect when you begin meditating. So yes, yun, enjoying that moment. You're able to take a step back, parang take a pause, na you're feeling your whole body, feeling your emotion, your state at that moment.
And I also have to say na there's no such thing as perfect when it comes to this. Kasi nga, babalik tayo dun sa striving. Has to be a certain way. So, as best you can, practice when you can practice. And that's it for this episode.
Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's a short episode on meditation, and you get to practice with what we just shared with you. So, that's it for today.
See you next time.